Welcome to this explainer. Have you ever stopped and wondered what happens when the hero reaches the absolute end of their journey, stands right at the precipice of ultimate power, and then just decides to do absolutely nothing? Well, today we're diving into something truly profound. We're taking a close look at the deeply philosophical alternative ending to Whispers of the Deep. It's a story that completely flips our expectations of how a broken world is supposed to be fixed. So let's jump right into the text and see how our protagonist, Akira, finds a radically different way to save her universe.
Sometimes, to save the world, you don't need to become something greater. Let that sink in for a second. We're so incredibly conditioned to think that saving the universe takes, this massive, earth-shattering display of power or hitting some magical cosmic reset button. But the text here asks a brilliant question. How exactly does doing absolutely nothing save an entire reality? How does a refusal to act become the most powerful move on the board?
Which brings us to Section 1, Refusal to Reset. Picture the scene. Akira is standing literally at the boundary of the open ocean, which we know is the source of all magic. A total system reset is right there at her fingertips. She has the absolute power to fix everything, to just rewrite reality on the spot. She even takes a step forward, but then she stops. Ira, who as we know represents the old, rigid ways of overarching control, watches her and asks if she's changed her mind. And Akira's reason? I just don't want everything to depend on one person again. It's the ultimate rejection of the system. For so long, their entire world was dictated by top-down control. Akira realizes that if she pushes that cosmic reset button, she's basically just appointing herself the new dictator of reality. She's refusing to force a new existence onto humanity, even if it's arguably a better one.
It's here in Chapter 13a that Akira has this profound realization. As Ira is insisting that a reset is the only way, Akira looks around at the world, at the people, and specifically at Mio, who has lost all of her memories and her feelings. And Akira pieces together this fundamental truth about human nature and their universe. Feelings were not taken by force, they were lost by choice. People just simply stopped choosing to feel. So, forcing all those feelings back with a wave of a magical wand, that isn't just a bad idea, it's a mathematical and philosophical error. Think about it. If you use force to restore a choice, you completely destroy the very concept of free will.
Moving on to Section 2, the power of simple presence.
So zooming in from the fate of the entire world, we're left with this incredibly intimate, micro-level moment between Akira and Mio. Mio has no memory of Akira. That connection is seemingly completely gone. So we're faced with a real mechanical problem. How do you return feelings without magic? If you can't force someone to remember, and you absolutely refuse to use a system reset, what tools do you even have left in the toolbox?
Well, Akira uses a strategy drawn straight from the text that is completely passive, yet so deeply intentional. First, stay near. Second, demand absolutely nothing. And third, wait for a genuine spark. She walks right up to Mio, openly acknowledges that Mio doesn't remember her, and says, "But I can. Choose again." And then she just stays. That's it. She strips away every ounce of pressure and expectation. By doing this, Akira is actually carving out a safe, totally empty space for genuine human free will to kick in. Time passes. At first, literally nothing happens, and honestly, that is exactly the point.
Eventually, though, that quiet patience pays off in this beautifully subtle moment. Mio finally stops, looks at her, and asks, "Why are you always here?" Akira just answers, "Because I want to be." And suddenly, something inside Mio shifts. Now, this isn't a memory being unlocked. It is a completely organic, fresh emotional response. Mio isn't being magically forced to remember her past love. She's naturally reacting to the gentle, consistent presence of the person standing right in front of her.
Let's look at Section 3, the contagiousness of genuine connection.
Okay, so how in the world does a tiny spark between two people end up saving an entire universe? To understand that, we have to fundamentally redefine the mechanics of this world. Connection. It's not a system. It's not a natural law. It is a choice. When Mio finally admits to Akira, "I feel calm around you," a connection is formed. But it's not one dictated by the universe's magical rules. That word right there, choice, is the absolute antidote to the overarching control of the old world.
The source text explicitly tells us that this kind of connection is contagious. It's a chain reaction, and it didn't happen with massive thunderclaps or flashing lights in the sky. It happened with someone, somewhere, texting, "How are you?" It happened when someone randomly smiled at a stranger. It happened when someone simply decided not to walk right past someone who needed help. These small, beautifully mundane actions literally woke the world up. It began to change, not drastically from the top down, but organically, from the inside out.
This leads us to Section 4. The end of the old system. You have to wonder, how do the architects of the old world react to a society that's healing itself without their overarching system? The contrast is super stark. The old world, which Kai represents, relied on a system that was forced and, at least seemingly, flawless. But as Kai watches this new phenomenon unfold, for the very first time his power just doesn't work. Why? Well, because as the text states, you cannot remove what a person freely chooses. The new world is built entirely on choice, it's organic, and yeah, it's pretty imperfect. Kai's sterile, flawless perfection completely shatters against the messy reality of human free will.
Then Kai actually confronts Akira. He tells her, "You didn't reset the world." And Akira drops this absolute mic drop of a response. "I just didn't let it die." I absolutely love this line. It perfectly highlights the massive philosophical gap between controlling a world and merely keeping it alive. She didn't fix it for them, she just held the door open long enough for humanity to fix itself.
And what about Ira? Ira watches this agonizingly slow, quiet process of people reconnecting, literally one text message at a time. She says, "It's slow," and Akira agrees, but it's real. This realization prompts Ira to do something completely unprecedented for a being who is so used to total control. She steps back. She closes her eyes, and for the first time ever, she chooses not to interfere. The old system essentially just retires itself in the face of genuine humanity.
Finally, Section 5, an imperfect but alive world.
The narrative finally brings us to this incredibly grounded, warm beach scene. Akira and Mio are sitting together, looking out at an ocean that is fundamentally changed. The imagery here is so powerful. If you remember the lore, the ocean was the magic. It was the overarching system itself. But now, it is no longer a source. It's not a system, and it's not an instrument. It is simply a witness. The text tells us that down in the depths, there are no longer eyes watching. There's only the reflection of the sky. It's the perfect symbol for the death of systemic surveillance and magical control. The universe gets to just be a universe again.
Sitting by this newly quiet ocean, Mio turns to Akira. She asks why she feels like she's known Akira for a long time. Akira, smiling through tears, says it's because they've chosen this before. And then we hit the absolute emotional climax of the story. Mio says, "Let's choose again." Even missing her old memories, she can sense that deep history, and she actively initiates the choice to be with Akira in this new, totally unforced reality.
The text closes out by zooming out to look at the whole world one last time, summarizing what a reality built on free will actually looks like. Connections appear, sometimes they disappear, and sometimes they return. It emphasizes that this world is no longer perfectly stable. It's absolutely not an ideal, flawless system anymore. But crucially, it is vibrantly, wonderfully alive.
So what's the big takeaway here? The final thought of the source material reminds us that to save the world, you really don't need to become something larger than life. You just need to remain human and choose again. Which leaves us with a pretty profound question to ponder, one that brings Akira's whole philosophy right off the page and into our own daily lives. If a world can be saved just by staying present, what connection will you choose today? Thanks for exploring this fascinating alternative ending with me. Keep asking questions and keep choosing connection.